This is Patrick Bray. I'm here today to talk to you about prepaid expenses. Now this is going to be a two-parter. One, we're going to learn how to identify and recognize prepaid expenses, and two, we're going to learn how to expense those prepaid expenses. So first of all, what is a prepaid expense? This is going to be a good or service that you have paid for in advance that still has a useful life as of the financial statement date. So let's unpack that a little bit further based upon that definition. One, I have written a check or paid cash for a good or service that still has a useful life. Useful life meaning there's still time or some sort of measurement that is available for me in the future. Useful life can be a license is good for a year. Measurement could be like postage. As I use it, I expense. So let me go further down the rabbit hole with examples. One that's common to most companies is going to be insurance. Your liability insurance is typically going to be good for a year. Software licenses, typically good for a year, maybe a quarter. Maintenance contract. You can have data services, subscriptions, anything that you can think about that has a life. Usually a lot of licenses and subscriptions are going to have a year life, and GAAP accounting wants you to recognize that over its useful life. Now you can have other items that aren't necessarily based upon time. They can be based upon some sort of measurement, like postage. You can put postage on a machine. Typically, I don't know, in my experience, you put $500 to $1,000. Some companies might put $5,000, and as that gets used, you're going to roll that off into your income statement. And we'll learn that more in that next training on what exactly to do with a prepaid expense. But this is primarily identifying what a prepaid expense is. So let's give an example, hypothetical example, but example of how to identify a prepaid expense. Let's go with Ravens Incorporated. They are renewing their insurance policy going into 2022. Hypothetically, it's December 5th, 2021. They go and pay their premium. It's $12,000. Its effective date is January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022. So as of December 5th, 2021, that is a prepaid insurance policy. And when I run my financials as of 12/31/21, that is still a prepaid insurance policy that I'm going to leave on my balance sheet. I'm not going to expense it yet because the effective date of that policy isn't to January 1st, 2022. Now, we'll go through what to do with that when we get into 2022 in this example, but right now, 12/31/21, I've got a prepaid on my balance sheet. Based upon that, and I've referenced the balance sheet, where do prepaid assets end up? Prepaid assets end up in your current assets on your balance sheet under the assets section, as hence the name. It's kind of redundant. But that's what you're going to do. You're going to identify, hey, I got a good or service, still has a useful life. I'm going to leave it in my balance sheet, and then as that useful life gets used, then I'm going to take it off the balance sheet. So I hope that gives a little bit more clarity on identifying what exactly a prepaid expense is.